Welcome back to my channel, and this video I'm going to be doing a Colourblock design inspired by the queen of Colourblock herself, Kerry Anderson. Now, if you haven't checked out her work, make sure you do on Instagram. Everything she creates is beautiful, but her Colourbblocks are insane. So this is quite an autumnal design. I have a few more sets that I want to share on my YouTube channel with you, and then we will get into some Christmas and winter designs. So Miss Lottie is ready to go. I have applied my tips. They are the Gems Stiletto tips, but then I have cut them down because I wanted more of a square, maybe slightly tapered square for this design. And now I'm just going in with Crystal Clear from the Gems range for that nice thin clear base, and then we will get into the design. So starting off with Pinky Pink, this is one of the beautiful cover powders from Gems Nail Systems, and I will be using this throughout the whole set where I want to have a cover nail bed colour. On the index finger here, I am doing the first of my colour blocks. I am doing a quarter of the nail, starting at the cuticle, going down just past the natural free edge and half of the nail at the nail bed area. So I'm not worrying about apex, anything like that, making sure I've got nice straight lines with my brush, as you can see, patting them in. But I am then going to come in with my craft knife and completely straighten them up. So cut away the excess so I have a nice straight line. Now, a little bit of a warning here. If you are working on an actual person with a craft knife, please be very, very careful. Don't use it if you are not 110% confident and comfortable doing it. There are alternatives that don't include a sharp blade. And as you can see, I am now doing exactly the same on the ring finger on the other side, but I'm still doing that same quarter. So half of the nail bed down to roughly the natural free edge. Now, as I said, if you're not confident using a blade, you could do as much work with the brush as I'm doing and then just go in with a file. You could also use some cotton or some dental floss. Only use a craft knife if you are 110% happy doing so. So as you can see, I did work with the brush, but now I'm just neatening it up, cutting away the excess. Then I'm going to let that set, and then we will cap to build the apex. On the middle finger, I'm doing a reverse smile line, so that first bead in place, building up where I want the smile line to actually be, getting rid of something that was in the acrylic that I didn't want. So blend the bead back towards the cuticle so that that cuticle bead will come in seamlessly over top, and now I'm just shaping that smile so it's nice and even all the way around. We have a little bit of a wall so that the next colour can get right up to it and into the wings, and once I'm happy with that, I will do my cuticle bead. Again, I'm not building any apex or structure here, that will all be done with my precious pink, but I want to get my cuticle nice and flush, nice and neat, so tucking that brush in behind it and then just pulling the colour down over top, wiping away any excess and just making sure that smile line is still nice and neat. Don't worry if it's not perfect, I will file it as I do. But I do like to faff until everything is as perfect as I can make it. Nice and simple on the thumb and the pinky. Thumb and the pinky. Just doing a bit of colour at that nail bed. We're going to be doing ombre on here. So nice and thin, just for a little bit of colour. Now we're going to use Precious Pink. This is a beautiful translucent pink. It is perfect for capping the cover powder nail beds. Makes it look a little bit more natural, a bit more glowy. This is where we're going to put the apex in, make sure the nail has all the structure. So I'm making sure I follow those lines that I created with my craft knife. I will, once this is set, go in and file just to make sure they're still nice and straight. And literally just covering that little block, making sure I've got an apex. There, hopefully you can see it. Tucking down in that cuticle, and then exactly the same on the middle finger, creating my apex. You have seen me do this before, so I'm going to shut up. But once I've done this and that acrylic has set, I will file those lines nice and straight again, file that smile line before going in with the next block. And for that I have got Lottie. This is from the Falling Leaves collection. It is the most beautiful autumnal deep plum, love it. And I'm going to fill in my next quarter on the index finger. So I'm going right up to that straight line where that cover powder came at the natural free edge, and I want to make sure it's the same thickness, so the same half of the nail. Doesn't matter if it overlaps slightly, because I will trim the excess away with my craft knife, and I am going to cap this, so I'm just putting the colour in. It doesn't matter if I overlap the nail bed colour either, that first block, because I've done the work at the end. When we file the surface of the nail, it will show those nice straight lines. So here we go, craft knife, using that first block as a guide, so it's nice and straight all the way down, just getting rid of that little bit of excess. It was probably a touch set too much, and now I'm going to cap it. And once this is capped, I could have used my craft knife to straighten up with that where that clear acrylic was, but you could literally just file down the middle, nice and straight. Now I always leave my craft knife dipped in some clear acrylic, just in the powder, because this will help it not to stick when you cut. Now you can see I'm just wiping down that straight line, so I'm keeping it as neat as I possibly can. And then slightly different on the ring finger, because I have got Maroon. This is from the Metallic Mix. This whole collection of glitters is incredibly autumnal, but this matched Lottie perfectly. And I am filling in that quarter on the ring finger with this glitter. It's quite a chunky mix, so I'm using little beads of the glitter, and then I'm patting it down. It's going to need to be encapsulated, so really patting it down. I want to make sure I am as straight as I possibly can be with that line down the middle. Doesn't matter if it overlaps slightly, because again I can cut away and neaten it up. And as you can see, I'm using the very tip of my brush just to move the glitter across so that we haven't got any gaps, and then using the belly and the side of my brush to neaten it, using that first block as my guide. I hope this makes sense. I would probably be better at shutting up and letting you watch. Patting it all down, and when I'm happy and it's set slightly, we will cap in clear acrylic, and then once that's set I will file down to make sure that line is straight. But as you can see, I'm using the side of my brush to make sure I'm keeping that line as straight and as neat as I possibly can. Whew. Right, going to finish encapsulating this now, and then we're going to move on. I can't remember what I'm doing next, so you know, it's going to be a surprise for me. So, from the Mythical Finds collection, I've got Hippocampus. This is a beautiful, it's a slightly lighter plummy colour, but it worked really nicely, I felt. And I'm just using this for my glitter ombres on the pinky and also on the thumb. So applying it at the tip, blending it back slightly, and that's that. There's so much going on the middle three nails that I just wanted to keep the thumb and the pinky as simple as I possibly could, really. And I liked the combination of a fine glitter and a chunky glitter. So just finishing tidying that up, making sure it is all covered from the blend right to the very tip. And then we'll let that set and we'll encapsulate in clear when it's done. So I've filed those lines in nice and straight, and now I'm going to fill in the last half of the nail, and I'm going to do this as a whole block. So on this finger I'm using the glitter that I used on the ring finger, and then I bet you can guess what I'm going to do on the ring finger. Yes, I'm going to use the acrylic. So I'm going to just stop waffling on now and let you watch, but I'm just going to apply the glitter and the colour acrylic and then encapsulate it in clear, obviously. Sorry, I gave you false information here. I'm not doing the ring finger first, I am doing the middle finger. This will teach me not to leave it a couple of weeks before voicing over a video because I forget what I did. So right around that filed smile line, I just want almost a band of that coloured acrylic, so Lottie. So I'm pushing it right up into the wings, right up to that smile line, and I want to make sure that it's right up the wall as well. I don't want a little line where there's no colour. So it doesn't matter if I get a little bit of colour on my nail bed because that's all going to file away. I just want to make sure I've got a nice band of that coloured acrylic. Now I'm not doing it as a block, it doesn't need to be a block. Just making sure it's there, and then I will be putting glitter at the tip, but I'm going to do the ring finger first. So just like I did a full half of glitter on the index finger, I'm going to do a full half of coloured acrylic on the ring finger. So again, this is just colour. This is for design purposes. I am going to encapsulate in clear acrylic to give the nail the strength and the structure it needs. So with Lottie, I just want to make sure I have a even full coverage block of colour. So where it's a little bit patchy in places, I'm going to add a little bit more. And again, it doesn't matter if I get that colour on the other half of the nail because I've done all the work on there. That is all built as it needs to be, so I can file it all away at the end. And the best part about this second half of the nail is I've not got to worry about putting a block in or cutting because I'm literally filling in what is left of the nail. So there you can see I'm just adding a touch more at the tip because it was a bit patchy. Didn't want the patchiness. And then I'm going to leave that to set before I encapsulate it. Actually, looking at it, I probably didn't need to encapsulate it, but I'm going to go in and I'm going to add some glitter to my tip here. So I'm using that Hippocampus again, which I used on the thumb and the pinky, just to tie all the nails together, and then I'm just going in with a touch of the maroon over top. Just a little bit, just a sprinkling. And then once I'm happy with the glitter, I'm going to encapsulate where it needs encapsulating, so those two half blocks, the thumbs, the pinky and the tip of that middle finger. So make sure the nail has got all the strength, the structure, everything it needs, you know the drill, and then I will file off camera, neaten up those side walls, that free edge, refine the surface of the nail, and then we will come and finish this design off. But to be honest, it just needed top coat because there's a lot going on already. So join me in a minute with some freshly filed nails ready to top coat. So here they are all filed. I'm not sure what is going on with the picture, it's a bit foggy almost. No idea. So I'm just giving them a clean. This is where I'll get rid of any dust that's left on the surface of the nail, any oils from my fingers or anything. and I felt this design was perfect as it was. If you wanted to add some crystals, you could maybe add them to the nail bed of the middle finger, but to be honest, I think with the colour blocks and that smile line, there was enough going on that this design didn't need any bling. Yes, that is me saying that. So I'm just going in now with the lovely Tina top to top coat all of these nails. And you can really see doing the work with that craft knife, with the file, getting those nice straight blocks. Just something sexy about a colour block nail, if you ask me. So I'm going to top coat these nails now. I've kept this at real-time speed because who doesn't love a bit of top coating? This is like the magic. This is my favourite part of any design, top coating, because this is where it just comes to life. So instead of you having to listen to my voice waffling on about random things, enjoy the top coat porn, and I'll be back when they're fully cured. So here is this design finished. Obviously, if this was an actual client, you'd want to finish off with cuticle oil, especially this time of year where it's that much colder. You want to keep the nails, the cuticles, the fingers nice and hydrated. But Miss Lottie does, I've just realised, this Lottie's got Lottie acrylic. Oh, and I do love that colour, and I think the glitter went perfectly with it. Oh, Lottie for Miss Lottie. Oh, there we go. That's literally just come to me. Anyway, I think that's a good place to leave this video. So if you have enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget you can leave me any comments down below. If you're new to my channel, please click subscribe. But that is enough from me today. I'll be back with another video very, very soon. Bye! Mwah!